Hi family. Today's video will be entitled Why People Don't Tell You When They're Sick. Okay? Because I think somewhere along the way we have lost um kindness and compassion and things like that when people are not well. And as a result of people seeing how you are as a person, so on and so forth, they might decide to not tell you when they're ill. Now, we all know somebody who has either passed away, transitioned, or they're living with an illness and they told no one. So, today I just want to make sense of why they didn't tell anyone, right? So, the first thing is there is a lack of trust. Now, a lot of times, somebody might be your friend or your family member, and they will know you pretty well. So what ends up happening is that they might feel as though you are not emotionally mature enough to handle this very serious situation, right? So they're gonna feel like, well, because I know this person, I know how they are. If I tell them, I don't know how they're going to take it. And when people are sick, they do not have the energy and the capacity to look after themselves and to also take other people into consideration because they're really going through something, serious, right? So the first reason somebody might not tell you when they're sick is because there is a lack of trust. They don't trust you, they don't trust that you can handle the situation. They might trust you in other ways, don't get it twisted, but in terms of coping and handling this illness, whatever it is, they probably don't trust you. Okay, so that's the first one. The second thing is when somebody is sick, the last thing that they need is panic. And a lot of times people panic when somebody is ill and they automatically assume the worst. And so that person won't say anything to people like that because panic energy is very draining energy, right? Another reason why people wouldn't tell you is because um, some people, interestingly enough, when you're ill, they get mad at you for not telling them. So they get angry with you for not calling and telling them that you're ill, so on and so forth. And when you have to deal with yourself and you have to heal and so on and so forth, the energy of anger is not helpful at all. As a matter of fact, it makes things 100% worse, especially when it doesn't have a basis. A lot of times, everybody wants to feel like they're the first to know. So they get mad at you because they're like, how dare you only tell me when whatever, right? Um, I've experienced this whereby people get mad at you because they're like, you should have called me first. I would have told you what was wrong with you, and you should have called me first, because everybody wants to be that first person to call. And when you get into that state of what the sick person should have done, you have to realize that you're being quite antagonistic and that you're not putting yourself in their shoes. Like, there's people that I would have assumed because of their profession, because of maybe the nature of our relationship, I would have assumed that they would have handled things a little bit different. But instead, some of these things I'm speaking about today is what, I experienced myself. And having dealt with clients over the years, I've also had, a lot of anecdotal stories about when people are at their most vulnerable, they're at their illest, and how people can treat them so cruel and unkind in their most vulnerable state. So yeah, people get angry, and it's all about them, right? So they're like, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you call me and tell me?" And I don't think that people understand, especially if you have like a illness that overhauls your whole life, or you know, God forbid, a terminal illness. Um, you need all your energy for yourself. You don't have the energy to be taking care of other people. And what I've noticed is that if in particular you've been a helpy McHelpington to everybody else, when you get sick, they still expect you to drop everything and still be helping McHelpington to them. Or they get angry when you can't perform that role anymore. You understand? So it's very interesting, but people get angry when you're sick because they want to be the first to know, first in line, and all that type of nonsense. Okay. Another reason why people don't tell you that when they're ill is because of a lot of people have negative outlooks on life. And so the minute they hear something is wrong, oh my God, they're already picturing you in your casket. It's ridiculous, but it's true because they just automatically have that type of a outlook where everything is doom and gloom. So when, whoever the person is that gets ill, they don't want to deal with that. So they don't tell them. Okay. Next thing, lack of filter. So a lot of people, when they're dealing with ill people, they come with negative advice. So they'll tell you something like, um, you know, this illness kills somebody, so you should do X, Y, and Z so you don't dead. And they don't tell you as a way of just keeping you informed. They tell you as a way of like, this could be you tomorrow. And again, that energy is not helpful because all it does is it throws the already vulnerable sick person into paranoia and fear. You understand? So please refrain from doing that. Another reason is lack of empathy. I did not realize how non empathic, is that a word? People can be. And it doesn't even matter if you are related or if you have a relationship with them. For some people, when they hear other people are ill, they really begin to handle them very roughly. And I don't know when this message got transferred to some people that, oh, if I just rough you up and tough you up at your lowest point, it's going to help you to go get through it. And no, 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 it doesn't. All it's going to do is get you blocked. It doesn't help. It does not help. If anything, when somebody is ill, they need a listening ear and they need empathy. You don't have to enable them to get sicker, but you do need to be empathic to them. Let them know that you care. Let them know you're paying attention to what they're going through, and don't be cruel for God's sake to them. Some of the ways people can be cruel, it might seem like nothing, but when a person is vulnerable and they're not well, you just can't do anything to them. Like I remember saying to someone when I was ill last year, I said, I ended up in hospital. It was quite serious, and then I sent a message to, the 5 people that I thought should know. Um, I really didn't want to, but I did that because I didn't want my husband to be blamed, once people understood that I was really, really ill and I was in hospital. So I sent out text message to 5 people, and I tell you, out of the 5, 3 of them were very cold. They had no empathy. There was no kindness there. One person in particular was like, when I sent the text message saying, I was in hospital or whatever, they were like, they called me and they were like, what's that message about? And I said, look, listen, I'm not well. Get off my phone with this energy, Just no care, no like not even concern, just care with handling, care with handling. Like I'm very intentional how I deal with people. That's why a lot of times in my life, I get the call first when people aren't well. I get the call first because people understand that, Fee has empathy and she really does care. And it was interesting to be on the other side where you are not treated with the same kindness that you showed those same people. So, you know, watch that lack of empathy. I know it's a cold world, I'm well aware, but you don't have to be a cold person. Next one, lack outright apathy. So this is when you're not well, and then the person, somebody or people, who knows, could be treating you with such almost like torture gloves, because they really are apathetic to you. They have no sympathy for your plight. They don't care, because all they really care about is what you could, how you were useful to them. So now that you're no longer useful to them because you're down and out, they just treat you with such cruelty, and I know it's not just something that I've went through. I know a lot of other people have went through that as well. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because I don't think people know what support looks like. Like, a lot of people, they don't know what support looks like, you know? So they're cold and they're apathetic, and they think that you just have to accept it because this is just how I do. Well, if you're not well and you're dealing with people like that, I encourage you to block them. And I'll tell you why in a second. Okay? Just give me 1 second. My mouth is getting real dry. Dry. Um, the next reason, people make it about themselves. So you're sick, and then all of a sudden, it's about, well, this is my profession, so you should have called me first. This is that. You should have called me first. You don't know. I could have helped you. You should have called me first. And the interesting thing is, people don't take into consideration how other people experience them. Just because you were X, Y, and Z in your profession, so on and so forth, that doesn't put you at the top of my list if I'm in an emergency, because you don't know how I experience you. You don't know how I rank you in my list of favorite people. You know what I'm saying? In terms of priority. And so they make it about themselves. And again, that block button is there for a reason, until you thaw out and you're well again and you want to deal with them. People automatically depress you because their energy dips, and then it's all doom and gloom. That's one of the main reasons people don't tell people why they're sick, because they already know that people go and just, oh God, oh Lord, I can't. While that might be appropriate, as long as the person is still alive, like, you have to come with life into their hemisphere. You can't just be cruel to them. Um, and you can't just, like, fall down and stay down. I mean, if it's shocking to you, sure, fall down, but you have to get up at some point, because if you want to be a support system to that person, you have to now be strength for them, not drain them. And a lot of people don't realize, you see, when your energy falls when somebody tells you they're ill, and you just freak out, so on and so forth, a lot of times you don't even realize that they trusted you enough to tell you, and now you're not handling it well, and the person who's not doing so well, they automatically regret it. They automatically regret telling you, because they were like, I really thought I could get a little strength from this one, but down the toilet. You understand? So you have to be very wary of your energy, because energy is infectious. Mood is infectious. And so if you're depressed, what are you giving to the person that is ill? Okay? People don't realize that the body is already diseased, right? So the illness, whatever it is, the body is already diseased. So it's not at ease, okay? And then when you come and you want to make their illness about you put them at further risk of complications, because energetically, what you've just done is to depress their immune system. And you just set them back because of your energy. So we have to be cognizant of these things and not fall into these traps of, you know, panic, anger, negative outlook, lack of filter, empathy, apathy. Like, we really have to learn how to structure ourselves so that we could be adequate support for people, because support is not an easy thing to come by. A lot of times when somebody is ill, they are the only people, and those who are in their hemisphere all the time, they're really the only people that know the extent of what's going on and the severity of whatever the illness is. And as such, when somebody now enters that space that is already volatile and they come with any of the aforementioned things, they are now having a real life drain on the person who's not well. So their immune system is depressed. So now their body goes into a negative state that is just so acidic and anti healing that it's very, a lot of times it sets people back. Like, I've had clients that have been ill, and they cut off everybody to focus on their healing, and I really recommend that, because that is the best way to heal. They cut off everybody, but then slowly but surely they'll start letting people back in, and in no time all their symptoms return. And it's really an interesting phenomenon to watch, because you're like, you as the therapist, you're like, but we went through X, Y, and Z, we did everything, how could this still be here? And then they're gonna tell you, well, me and this person, we don't agree, we don't get along, but I called them because I thought I was better, and since speaking to them, they have completely drained my energy, and all my symptoms are back, and we have to start all over again from scratch. When a body is already at dis ease with itself, it's going through something, it's your body is always fighting in your favor. Your body wants to keep you alive, and it will do so by any means necessary. And so, if you are at the whim of people and you're experiencing any of the aforementioned things, the body is going to take that and just incorporate it into trying to save you, because the body uses everything, but it might not use it in the right way, because it might not be something that is serving you. So the body, while it's working on you at the same time, if negative energy comes into you and it sits there in your stomach meridian, the body is going to find a way to deal with that negative energy, and it might end up in digestive problems, might end up with colon issues. You understand? And so this is really a PSA for everybody. Just mind how you are with people. Get emotional maturity so that you can really be somebody that is worthwhile for somebody in your life when they're down and out. All of the things that I mentioned above, they are all draining, and they put the body into severe acidosis. A lot of times, when people are upset, they can't eat. And the reason that they're upset and they can't eat is because the stomach is where your emotions sit first. In kinesiology, my teachers taught me that the stomach is the seat of the emotion. So therefore, as soon as something happens and you feel it, it hits your stomach first. That's why a lot of times people can't eat to save their lives, and they can't even eat properly to save their lives, because when you're depressed and you're stressed and you're in acidosis, a lot of times you crave food that is not appropriate for you. And so you begin a negative cycle, because the body begins to crave things that are not good for you, because you were just in a situation that wasn't good for you. And now the body is still going to try and take whatever it is that you gave it to heal you, but then it can't because the food might not be that great because you made a bad decision just because you experienced something bad, and over and on it goes. It doesn't stop until you stop it. And so all of us need to really learn empathy, true support, offer help, offer whatever they need. You know, right now I'm supporting someone through a very, very traumatic, change in their life, very traumatic and dramatic change in their life. And honestly, I love her dearly, and I just send small messages like every other day. Just saying, hi, Auntie, please remember to drink water today. Please take care of yourself today. Please get some fresh air. Simple things. And I know she appreciates it. And I appreciate that I could just be there to just, give her daily reminders of please look after yourself in the midst of all the chaos that you're experiencing. A lot of times people don't want to support other people because they don't want the person to ask them to do anything for them. So they'll handle you rough because then you're not going to ask them to do anything for you. And if that's the case and you suspect that that's what's happening, just nip it in the bud, nix it. Don't encourage it. Get them away from you. Because when you are ill and you have those type of draining people around you, it can cost you your life. And I mean that literally. Because people will drain you until there's nothing left to drain. They will come to your funeral, cry, and then the next day it's business as usual. And your life has been cut short. So, if you are ill, you have the block button for a reason. You have to become your own first priority. If you don't have the support you desire, even more so, it's important that you really really clean up your space and just stop dealing with people that are antagonizing and depressing you. Because I don't know which school of thought people went to, but it seems like people think antagonizing you and being apathetic and being cold and depressing you is going to help you to heal. And I don't know where part that come from. Me never see nothing, so I never see nothing like that. I don't know where it come from. If I depress you, piss you off, and antagonize you, you're gonna heal better. So I'm gonna just do what? So what? What? No, it doesn't work like that. And so, if you are ill, clear your space up. You don't need any type of negativity. You need to be being lifted higher. You need to be laughing. You need to be in a space where it is peaceful so that your body can heal. You need all of those things to be able to knit back together properly. And if you are not ill, but you're supporting somebody who is ill, no apathy for them. Don't have apathy for them. If you have to be the support and you don't even like them, just do what you need to do and get out the way. Okay? Just get out the way because they don't need to feel that energy because it's not healing energy. In fact, it is anti-healing energy. It will kill them faster. And I think that we all need to learn how to be supportive to people. But that is not a guarantee that in your time of need you will have the same support. Let me make that very clear because a lot of times, life has a wicked way of mirroring things back to us. And a lot of times it's because we need to experience something to be able to help somebody else out that we may or may not know yet. So let's be kinder. Let's have respect for people when they're ill, because each illness affects people differently and you don't know what somebody is going through. The last reason that people don't tell you when they're ill is because they know that in this life you just never know who's not wishing you well. And so they're not trying to jinx their faith or to have any unnecessary interruptions on their journey towards healing or towards transitioning, either way. So family, I hope that this video has been a reminder in simple courtesy and caring principles. I hope you have a good day. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below. Hit the like button, all that good stuff. And take care. I'm gonna do another video soon. Bye.